Hey, in this video I'm going to show you how I went about making an 8-bit drum kit using a plugin called 8-bit Magical Plug and also in a DAW called REAPER, which is my DAW of choice, coming right up. Alright, in this video I'm going to show you how I went about creating this wonderful little thing right here. Alright, now what you're going to notice here is I have this guy, which is 8-bit drum machine, and it's got all these disabled channels on it here in Reaper, and I have routed it out to these 4 channels. So I've got this right here as my kick, I've got this channel here as my snare, got this channel here for my toms, and I have this channel here for my crash cymbals, hi-hat, ride bell, china. I just call that shiny stuff. Now it's an 8-bit drum kit. What I used to create this sound is a plugin called Magical 8-bit Plug. I just dropped one track in here to begin with, and I had multiple versions of the same plugin on the same track. I blended the sounds together and created each individual part of the drum kit. So now I have a sample loader with a wave file that with each drum piece I created, like the kick. And then I've got the snare. I'm just clicking that black box there. And then I've got each of the toms. And then all of the shiny stuff like the hi-hat. So I'm going to save this project. I'm going to just make a new project just to show you. So I made a new track. And here are my recently used. I've got Magical 8-bit Plug. It's a VSTI instrument. This thing is cool. I guess, oh, you can't resize the window, huh? Well, alright, that's okay. I like to go to show advanced options and go to mono dark. Now, for your kick drum, I started out with this guy. My kit is tuned to E, so I went insert, new MIDI item, got into here, and I went clear down to like C1, I think. Just put a note there. But I stretched it out so it actually has some longevity to it in the MIDI track. So I've got now, okay, so we got to make this sound more like a kick. On this particular part I put the gain all the way up. I've got the duty at 12.5, which it sounds more brittle in the pulse. But that's really good for low tunings. You want to push your upper range so you can hear how low it is, if that makes any sense. Attack I always leave at 0. The decay I left at 0. Sustain 0. Decay, let's see. Actually, I didn't leave that at 0. I think I had that at like 20. So that way it like fades and goes away. So I'm going to put this on a loop here so you can hear what I'm doing. It just has a little thump, thump, thump. That's what I want. Now the magic comes in when you start blending multiple plugins on top of each other. Oh yeah, I had the pitch at 5 because when you hit a drum, the pitch jumps up on the initial strike and then it jumps back to normal. So that would be like, sounds a bit more like a drum. And let me go back into the mixer here, make another channel, and I only make another channel because I'm duplicating this plugin. So I'm going to duplicate this over here, and I'm going to make 2 more versions of it down there. You can't do that little trick with only 1 track. I'm going to remove, well, maybe not remove it yet. But I've got 1 track. I'm going to open up the second of this right here. I'm going to put my first up here, my second down here. Now this helps the strike sound stronger. Because if you notice, if I go disable these 2 plugins and I'm only playing this, and then I enable the second one, it sounds like it's hitting harder. But I'm going to take the decay of my second, and now you've got like a harder hit just at the beginning, but it doesn't sound so layered and pasty. So it gives it more of a thump, because I got the decay at 0.05 here, but the decay on the whole thing is 0.2. Now on the last one, I'm giving it some noise. Womp. I'm also setting the decay to like 0.05 on noise. So we got this. Very subtle, but it adds to it. And then when you're happy with whatever you've made, I went up to File, hit Render, and then I found a directory. My thing, I routed out to a folder called 8-Bit Kit, and then I named the file like Kick, and then whatever I tuned it to, so I know what tuning matches, because it's an E note that I'm basing it off of. I write music based around a guitar, and a guitar in standard tuning is E, so I know the lowest string played open is an E note, and that's why I'm doing that in particular for me. So there we go. Then from there, after you've routed it, you just hit Render File, which I'm not going to do because I already have all my samples made. Let's move on to how to make a snare. Now a snare, you want to have kind of a pang going on. So I'm going to go to my very bottom, do a triangle kind of deal. I'm going to drop into my MIDI. I'm going to move this an octave up. So I'm hitting that E note, but up here. Right there. So now I'm playing an E up here. But that doesn't sound right. I'm going to go take my noise, and I'm going to have this be triangle. You'll see why in a minute. I'm going to take the pitch on the triangle and make that a -5, because snares have like a little pang sound going on when they get hit. On the noise, I'm going to make that as long as the pulse, and as a matter of fact, you don't really want a pulse anyway. You want noise. Which actually reminds me, I don't want it at that. I want to make that a 0.05, so you get that strike. And this I want to make a 0.2 on the snare ping, and then it should sound like, let's see if I did this right. See how well if I remember this. Yeah, doesn't sound bad. That's about what a snare should sound like. So that's not messy. So I had this guy for your initial strike. It has a shorter decay. So if I took this plugin away and just played it, see how you get that strike going on in there? I'm going to drop a limiter in here really fast so I'm not clipping so hard. I use Loud Max. I don't know what you would like to use, but it's jumping, and you don't want those red things hitting right there. It makes it sound... Ah, that's better. So that is a way to make your snare. Now for your toms, you want to set this back to 5 and then just have it be like a normal pulse. So you got, and instead of a noise, well, you do want noise, but not so much. Probably 0.1. That way you still have a little bit of an impact. And then to make your other toms, you're just going to jump down, like find the notes you like. Something like that. Just find the notes you want to stand out. So that would be, that's like your second tom, and then here's your third tom. And here's, and so on. And now for your crash cymbals and whatnot, you could jump all the way up here. And instead of making that little fly poop sound, you want to do like just straight up noise, and you want to have a longer decay on it. Now that's like appropriate for a hi-hat, because you're just straight up all noise right here. Now, say you want to have the hi-hat open, you want your decay to be longer, so you're going to go to this decay setting here and tell it probably to be like a 1. No, just 1. Oh, overkill. But you don't want so much of that. And then jump up some more. You can find, like, you know, crash cymbals. That's how you make all your cymbals. You just keep playing with these, find what you like, throw them together, and then you got your cymbals. And then after you've rendered all of your parts out with that render feature, file, render, output here, then you jump back, you're going to find a plugin called Resample-O-Matic 5000. That's in the Cocos folder if you've got Reaper. It's a sampler that comes with this DAW. Your DAW might have its own sampler. You just got to figure out which sampler you've got. And inside of here, you're going to load in with this little drop box here exactly what sound you want it to have. And then you can adjust the volume. You can tell it which note to play at. I tell mine to start at 36. So like 36 and 36, that starts on the C key of your keyboard. And then that's where, you know, you would want to plant your items. You can get into your MIDI or your Media Explorer. You could go, where was that? I was up here. View, right here, Media Explorer. Now I'm on a Mac with a Windows keyboard, like as if I'm doing a PC, so it's a little confusing. But that's the command to get to your Media Explorer there, if you can see that. You do the equivalent on a PC, and then inside your Media Explorer you go to all your exported files. So like right here, here's a kick. So I've dropped my kick in here. Now on 36C2, if I go to a MIDI item and I go to a named list, well, actually the sample's not on this track, so it wouldn't show up there. Noisy! But just to show you, if I take this over here and put it on the track where the MIDI's actually at. There, now that 32 says, or 36 says it's kick E. And it's playing the kick noise along with everything else that's happening on the channel. So, there you have that. When I switch back to a keyboard view, you can see right there, if you were to hit that on your whatever. You can also do that with your MIDI keyboard too if you have a keyboard. I don't. I just like to program the notes in. I don't have time for that. But yeah, and then if I load up my original project, I'm going to lose everything I just showed you here. 8-bit drum machine. No, don't save it. Then you drop all the samples on one track and you can go into your routing and tell it to add a new receive from your 8-bit drum machine track that you've got going on there. You drop your MIDI in that track and it sends the MIDI notes out to those individual channels. And that way you have control over your kick, your snare, all of your toms. I put my toms on the 3rd channel. And then your shiny stuff, which I have with my limiter, I have it down to -6 dB so it doesn't overpower the rest of the tracks. And now you've got right there, bam. And you just drop, like, you put your kick down on this track, put your snare on this track. I just dragged and dropped them into their channels, and then I disabled them over here. I shouldn't need to have these at all over here anymore, so I can like delete all of these. I don't need any of this. This is just a track now where you put the MIDI to write the grooves, and now that everything is on each individual track, if you wanted to have more control over that sample, you can. Like if you want to compress it differently or hit it with EQ or whatever, you've got it on a different track, and you can do that. So I got my son here trying to hit the space bar because he wants to dance. All right, and that's it. That is how to make your own 8-bit drum kit using that plugin. Hit like and subscribe if that was helpful. I got more videos coming. I'm working on composing music and learning some code, getting into some game design. I will see you guys later. Peace out.